All right, diabetes. Okay, so our patient number 1, we're on Lispro sliding scale, right? Was it high dose, low dose, medium dose?
The one I had was low dose.
Huh? Do you know?
No.
I do. It was low dose. Okay. What about your other patient? Patient number 2. Grace.
Oh,
Patient number 2.
She had metformin.
Okay.
And
And
shoot, I think what that was. I think it was Lispro again. No, insulin, regular.
okay, they had a regular insulin sliding scale, medium, high, or low. High dose.
Probably high, because her blood sugar was like 2 something.
And a schedule 70-30,
Wow.
22 units.
Oh my goodness.
I'm using an unapproved abbreviation, BID, twice a day. Okay, so this would be like at morning and in the afternoon.
And 30 of makeup. What is it? Is it 70 of?
It's NPH and regular.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Jen? You had a diabetic patient, right?
Yes, but she was NPO.
Okay, so
So
what
we
would
didn't
they have
get-
been on? Do you know?
It was insulin. I think it was Lispro.
Lispro, sliding scale. Low. And what was their scheduled?
I don't remember.
Lantus, 15 units. Bedtime.
Okay.
Patient number 4, Marlene.
He was on Humulin, regular.
Okay, regular. Sliding scale.
I have regular, medium, correctional.
Medium, there you go, yep. Okay, and they're scheduled?
I don't know.
There's a lot of learning going on right here, right?
Yeah, start checking insulin.
Okay. Think of all of the things that if these are missed, think of all of the problems, right? Or potential problems.
10 units.
70-30, 10 units, BID. Plus, I want you to see what real patients are actually on. I think it's helpful. Rita?
Mine was on Lispro, low dose.
Okay. Lispro, sliding
Sliding
scale, low. Okay. Sandy?
Honestly, I didn't pay attention. I don't remember.
Regular insulin. Thank you for being, thank you for being
I don't
honest.
remember.
Marissa?
I just know they were on metformin and glimepiride, but I don't know the insulin. I didn't check that.
Because they weren't on any.
Okay. I was gonna be honest before you just went.
You should have just been confident and just been wrong, if you were wrong, because you're right.
Oh, okay.
You should have went metformin and glimepiride.
Glyme what?
Glimepiride.
Glympiride.
Actually, no, you're right, they were on insulin. Regular, sliding scale, low.
That's a sulfonylurea, yeah, sulfonylurea. It's like glympiride.
Okay, so this is, we got 7 patients here. And we've got a whole mix of different types of treatment for their insulin. Do we have any type 1 diabetics here, or are they all type 2? Yours was type 1?
Mine's type 2.
Yeah. Okay, and which number was that?
4.
4. Okay, so this is type 1. Any idea when they were diagnosed or how long they've had it?
He's had it, I believe, since he was like 18.
All right. Insulin pump? Or just,
Right now, no, there's no insulin.
okay. Oh, and I just want to, because I just thought of it, when you have a patient that comes in and they have their insulin pump attached, that's fine, and sometimes the doctor will write orders to control the pump, and the patient will do it, and then you can look at the numbers and stuff. But I have had a patient come where I can't remember if their sugar was high or low, but their machine was malfunctioning. And so it was like, well, how do I know? What am I gonna do with this machine, right? So if you look at the machine, it usually has a phone number and it has an ID number on it. So you can call the phone number on the machine, tell them what the ID is, and they can interrogate it from wherever they are on the phone, and they can tell you all the things that happened with the machine and if it's malfunctioning or not. Okay, so I just FYI. And then if it was like a pacemaker or something implanted, then you would call whatever the company is that does that pacemaker. You're not gonna be able to see the ID number unless they have the card in their wallet they're supposed to be carrying with them, and they can assist you that way. Okay, so we have all kinds of things. We've got sliding scales, and everybody's on a sliding scale, right? So the sliding scale is going to cover your meal, your spikes in sugar, okay? What time do we do the spikes in sugar? What time do we do the AccuChecks? Okay, so AC and HS. I don't know if you can see that on there. AC and HS, and then we have scheduled. So you can see a good amount, right? At least half of them have a scheduled dose. And it's not gonna be on the MAR with the sliding scale, it's on the MAR in a separate spot. So you have to look for it, okay? And if you just look for all the insulin, you'll find the schedule, because it's gonna be a set dose. That's how you'll know. If you're trying to figure out what's the scale and what's the set dose, well, the scale, of course, has a scale when you hover, but it will say Lispro 1 unit sliding scale. Nobody is actually scheduled 1 unit of insulin ever. There's very little always or nevers in nursing, but that's one of them. That would be an order I would question. Say, hey doc, did you really just want 1 unit of insulin in the morning and at bedtime? So it will tell you 1 unit, but it's because there's a scale, okay? If it's a scheduled dose, it's going to have an actual number of units. That's anywhere from 6 to 90 units, depending upon the type of insulin, okay? So like this one's 22 units, this one's 15 units, 10 units, okay? So you know those are the schedules. So I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and then of course I didn't save the recording, so we're just gonna cover it now. So we have our short acting, we have our medium acting, or intermediate, and then we have our long acting, right? And then we even have rapid over here. So what I would do is take your common insulins and make yourself a little picture or table, or if you like the concept map thing, then you would just put, insulin here, and then, like rapid, and then the types of rapid would come off of that. Okay, so that's how, if you want to do that kind of a deal. And then you could color it and whatever. So, rapid, what's the onset?
15 to 30 minutes.
Okay, so this was 15 to 30 minutes. So this one, where is the food tray?
At their bedside.
It's in front of them, right? And they're getting ready to eat. Like they're not still laying down, and like they're sitting up and they're ready to eat, okay? Bedside. Okay, what about the short acting?
30 to 60
Good, 30 to 60. Where is the tray?
on the floor.
Somewhere on the unit, right? Intermediate. Okay, so I'm just gonna say 1 to 2 hours, so it, it's longer. And then the long acting,
24 hours.
it's 24 hours. It doesn't usually have like an onset or a peak, it's like just all the time. Okay, so 24 hours. So the reason we care about this, if you've got Betty, and Betty is our little old diabetic, geriatric, chronic illness lady, and we give Betty her, she's gonna get, well, let's give her one of these. Okay, so let's say patient number 2 gets their metformin in the morning, right? So it's 08. They're gonna get their metformin. We're gonna give them their 70-30. And then we're gonna check their sugar and look at the scale. So let's say their sugar's 200, and so we're gonna give them like 4 units or something. Of, in this case, regular. So what complications or issues are we going to look for in this patient right here?
Hypoglycemia.
Okay, hypoglycemia. What does hypoglycemia look like? Sweaty, clammy, cold, lethargic, dizzy, altered, something neuro, they're not quite right. When will that happen? So the regular, when is the regular going to kick in? This is 8 o'clock.
Is it when it's at its peak?
Like in 2 hours?
So it's gonna kick in at 9-ish, right? Let's say 9:09 it starts working. And then when is it going to peak?
Like in
90 minutes.
for regular? Like
It's
around
an
1
hour.
So this is a short acting, right? Regular?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Regular is short acting.
So it says peak 2 to 5 hours.
Okay, so let's say, so 2 hours would be like 10 o'clock, right? What is 10 o'clock in the food world?
There's no.
When do they have breakfast?
8.
So what's happening at 10?
Should have a snack.
Snack. So remember, we're learning that they have to have frequent meals. Every couple of hours, they should be eating something. So this is snack time, because that's when their sugar or their insulin is peaking, right? So here's the first low blood sugar potential. 70-30. What is that? 70% NPH and 30% regular. So now we've still got, the regular is still gonna be at this time, right? So this is the regular. Okay. So now we've got 70% NPH. Which kind of insulin is NPH? It's intermediate. Okay, so we've got our NPH is in the intermediate zone. What's the onset and peak of NPH?
Onset 1 to 2 hours and peak 4 to 5.
Okay, so the NPH is gonna start working here when the regular is peaking, right? So our NPH, that's all at 10 o'clock. Okay? And then, what did we say the peak is?
6 to 10 hours.
6, so what's 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1,
The
So,
peak for MPH?
uh-huh.
It's
MPH,
4 to 12.
4 to 12 hours.
Okay, so I'm gonna say like,
This one says 6 to 10 here.
like 8. I'm just gonna say 8.
Look at
Something in the middle?
That says.
Okay, so 8 hours, like 2 o'clock-ish. It's peaking. So if we're peaking, oh wait till you guys are done. We're gonna peak at 2, right? So here's your next opportunity to have a low blood sugar, right? What's happening at 2 o'clock?
A snack.
Afternoon snack, right? So it's not really as important to memorize 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever. Pretty much the whole routine is they have their scheduled, either their pills or their scheduled insulin in the morning at breakfast time. We know that as long as they're getting something short and intermediate, they're going to have potential issues at morning snack and potential issues at afternoon snack, right? And then when's the last time we checked the sugar?
Before bed.
At bedtime, which is a couple hours after dinner. See where we're going with this? Okay. So here's the other opportunity. And what are they doing at bedtime?
Snack.
Afternoon snack. I know, I wish somebody would tell me, oh, have a snack, like all day long. Okay, so I'm trying to take some of the complicated stuff out of it, right? So now if you get this and you have a picture in your head, and you could even on your own make some cute little pictures. So this would be like the oh no Mr. Bill face because the blood sugar's dropping. And you could draw little sweat tears, right? Because he's sweaty and whatever. And, you know, whatever other, if you have a picture for NPH, something with a big N on it or whatever. So that's, that kind of, I think, that helps me in my brain to figure out where things are at. So now we got to figure out what's what. So what, of the things that are on here, which ones are rapid? Do we have any rapid insulins? Lispro. So this is rapid. This is rapid. Does it make sense that rapid insulin would be with a scale? Yeah, because we're covering that peak in sugar. And this one is rapid. Okay, so do we have short acting up there? Regular. So this one's short acting. And does it make sense that we would have a short acting with a scale? Yes. Okay. And ready. Okay, so just about everybody is on something short acting that we can control spikes in sugar. Okay, so if you were to see an order that said Lispro 10 units BID, we would question that order, right? That does not make sense because we know that rapid acting is definitely with a scale because we're treating something right now, okay? The same would be true if we said Lantus, which is long acting, is with a scale. It's not with a sliding scale. It's not treating anything specific. It's trying to keep everything status quo, right? So the Lantus, and I need something good to make us remember, like it's once a day at bedtime, basal, I don't know, I've got to come up with something. This is your, because it's almost always given at 2200. So this is your long acting. And then the 70-30s and the NPH, those are intermediate acting. Are there any other insulins that we're missing? I think this is pretty good. So if you find something else in your readings or if you look in the objectives and you find another insulin, you'll want to add it to your little picture here. I would have this on one piece of paper, and this would be my insulin study tool, this one piece of paper. Okay? okay? And just put the things on here that you find that are key. What's special about MPH as far as administration?
The
What do you-
regular?
No, the NPH or the 70/30. How is it different than the other insulins?
Two mixed together.
It's two mixed together, okay. What does it look like? It's cloudy. It looks like milk. So what do you have to do? You have to roll it. Okay, you have to roll it. You gotta mix the 70 and the 30 together, right? It's because you don't want to be just giving
Cloudy.
the regular part or just the cloudy part, you know. So you might add that to your picture. You might say, and I've got to roll this one. Or you could draw a wheel, or I can't draw, so, you know. All you get is, oh no, Mr. Bill, with some sweat. So it's super important that you look for a scheduled the scheduled is gonna cover the all-day insulin, and it's either gonna be once a day or it's gonna be twice a day. So, and it's gonna be a number of units, okay? And then the sliding scale is going to be a rapid or short-acting, and it's going to be AC and HS. It could also be Q6, like we said, TPN, if they're on solumedrol or steroid. If they are comatose and they're on a tube feeding and they have diabetes, then we might do it Q6. But it's generally before meals and at bedtime. And we're going to cover that with something rapid or short. Okay? So, questions about that?
So sliding scale is short and long?
Short and rapid. Short and rapid for the sliding scale. Because the sliding scale is right now acute. Okay? Now, when you guys were all looking up your insulin, did you see the order for what we do if it's too low or too high?
Like it's like underneath the sliding scale.
When you hover over the sliding scale, the policy, order, it's all right there underneath it. Which is nice, because then you know exactly what to do. So you're looking at the scale for how much insulin am I going to give, and if it's too low or too high, then you're going to go, oh look, it's right there, what I'm supposed to do. So we talked about that before. So what was it, Marlene? I saw that you got your...
It said, for the medium, if the blood glucose was less than 70, notify the doctor.
Right.
If the patient cannot eat or drink, give D50, 25 ml, IV push. Check blood sugar every 15 minutes until blood sugar goes above 80.
Okay, so if they're not awake, we're going to give juice, milk, sandwich. It says it on there too, but it's misspelled. Or a glucose, the tube, like the gel. Right?
That says
You
that
missed
if
it.
they're
Not
awake.
awake.
If they're awake? I don't know.
If they're awake.
So it's kind of like the sim lab yesterday, except we were doing the sugar every 5 minutes.
It's just like the sim lab. Okay. And then if they're altered or not awake, then we're gonna give them the D50 25 mLs, which is what we did in the sim lab. Okay? And then check every 15. 15 minutes is a long time when your patient's sugar's like 30 or less, okay? And then also on the AccuCheck machines, no matter what you use, there's gonna be codes. So if we get the first sugar and it's 20, there's gonna be a code that says treat per protocol or notify the doctor or whatever. And so you put that in right after you get the sugar, or repeated test maybe. If the patient's not symptomatic, you know, if you did my blood sugar right now and you got 20, you'd question it. You go, well, wait a minute, let me try a different spot, or, you know. So every 15 minutes until greater than 80. So you've resolved the problem, but now you gotta let the doctor know. And then you gotta try to figure out, why is it so low? And, you know, was it they got too much insulin, or they didn't eat enough, or whatever. And then If it's 350 before a meal, you notify the doctor. And often at the bottom of the sliding scale, it's telling you, 200 to 250. It'll say 250 to 300, and then it'll have some other number, and it'll say notify the doctor. And it usually says give like 10 units or something of the regular, or whatever their sliding scale insulin is. Okay? So it's important that you know those, you anticipate those, so that if I were to give you a scenario, you'd be able to say, well, that doesn't look right. We don't give the long acting with the sliding scale, or whatever that is. Okay?
Going back
Yes.
to what you were saying about Lantus,
Mm-hmm.
the registered nurse RN girl, she just keeps saying that Lantus is like a lantern because it burns all night long.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's how I remember
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
So Lantus is like a lantern. Okay. Thank you, Sarah RN. And it burns all night long. I like that. That's good. Okay, so that's the insulin stuff. Then we have our POs. So why is this one on just metformin and this one's on metformin and glimepiride? What does metformin do? How does it lower the sugar? Metformin does everything. Metformin is kind of the jack of all trades of hypoglycemic meds. So it decreases your resistance, your insulin resistance. And we know that type 1 diabetics don't have insulin. Type 2 diabetics are very resistant to insulin, and that's part of the problem. They have insulin, but they can't use it, okay? It also decreases the amount of sugar that your liver is creating. Okay, so it decreases the amount from your liver, and then it increases intestinal absorption. So it does all kinds of things, okay? So, the doctor starts you on that, and it comes in 500 milligram increments or tablets, and most of our patients are on 1,000. Probably they started at 500, went to 1,000 because their sugars still weren't under control, and then now they're going to have to add something else, right? The glimepiride, which is the sulfonylurea, sulfonylurea, and it stimulates the pancreas. So this perhaps is a patient that, though they have type 2 diabetes, their pancreas still isn't working very well. But this patient, their pancreas is working, but they're very insulin resistant. Okay? So they've got lots of insulin floating around, they just can't use it. Unlike that one. Good?